Hi, welcome back to my class in Analytic Geometry. For today, we will take up the graph of linear equation in two variables, x and y. The equation of a line, straight line, can be written in different forms. The general form of a linear equation in two variables is given by ax plus by plus c equals 0, where c is a constant. Last time we said that if the coefficient of x is 0, then we have a linear equation in one variable y only. And we have shown that the graph of a linear equation in one variable y only is a horizontal line that is parallel with the x-axis and perpendicular with the y-axis. If the coefficient of y, b, is equal to 0, we will get a linear equation in one variable x only. And we have shown last time that the graph of a linear equation in the variable x only is a vertical line that is perpendicular with the x-axis and parallel with the y-axis. And we also said last time that the coefficients of x and y cannot be both 0. Because if the coefficients of x and y are both 0, then we will not have an equation. And c equals 0 is not always true if c is a non-zero constant. The linear equation in two variables x and y can be written in other forms. It can be written in two-point form given by y minus y1 equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 times quantity x minus x1. This is called a two-point form because 2 points are given. 2 points are needed to write the equation of a linear equation in two variables in two-point form. The first point has coordinates x1 and y1. The second point has coordinates x2 and y2. The linear equation in two variables x and y can also be written in slope point form. In two-point form, if we let this ratio y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 be equal to m, then we will obtain the slope point form of an equation of a line in two variables x and y. This is the slope point form where m is the slope and m is equal to the ratio of y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And 1 point is needed to write the equation of a line in two variables x and y in the slope-intercept point. The point has coordinates x1 and y1. The equation of a line in two variables can also be written in slope-intercept form. This is the slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the intercept. In particular, b is the y-intercept. That is, this is a point on the y-axis, y equals b, and the line will pass through this point on the y-axis. So it is the intersection of this y equals b is the point of intersection of the line and the y-axis. Hence, b here is actually the y-intercept. Lastly, the equation of a line in two variables can be written in intercept form. In this form of an equation of a line in two variables x and y are written using the intercepts. Small a, the denominator of x, is the x-intercept. It is a point on the x-axis, and the line will pass through this point on the x-axis. While small letter b, the denominator of y, is the y-intercept, as in the slope-intercept form, b is the y-intercept of the line. or the line will pass. So the line will pass through the y-axis at this point, y equals b, on the y-axis. For now, we will study how to sketch the graph of a straight line whose equation in two variables x and y is given. And the easier way to sketch the graph of an equation of a line in two variables x and y is to find the intercepts, in particular the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Consider the following examples. Example, we sketch the graph. Number 1, 3x minus 5y equals 30. And number 2, we have 2 times quantity x minus 7 equals 3 times quantity y plus 5. We will sketch these equations are linear because the exponent of y is 1. The exponent of x is 1. And it is linear because both variables x and y are present in each equation. Each equation is said to be a linear equation in x and y. First, we write the equation in general form, where the first term is the term containing x, the second term is the term containing y, and the third term is the constant term. For number 1, to write this in general form or standard form, we simply transpose 30 to the left-hand side. And when we transpose 30 to the left-hand side, we take the opposite sign of 30. Since 30 is positive, when we transpose it to the left-hand side, it becomes negative 30. From the left, we have 3x minus 5y. 3x minus 5y. And positive 30, we transpose to the left-hand side, we get negative 30 equals 0. We sketch the graph in the Cartesian plane consisting of two axes. The horizontal axis is denoted by the x, or this the x-axis. The vertical axis is denoted by y. The intersection of the x-axis and the vertical axis is 0. As I said, the easier way to sketch the graph of a line whose equation is given is to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is the point of intersection of the line and the x-axis. So the x-intercept is a point on the x-axis. And any point on the x-axis, the value of y is 0. Again, any point on the x-axis, the value of y is 0. And so the value of y at the x-intercept is 0. Thus, to find the x-intercept or the point of intersection of the line and the x-axis, that is the x-intercept, we set y to 0 in the equation of the line. In number 1, we have 3x minus 5y minus 30 equals 0. We set y to 0. If y equals 0, then we would get 3x y is 0 multiplied by negative 5 is 0. 3x minus 0 is 3x minus 30 equals 0. And this is a linear equation in one variable x, and we solve for x from this equation. We transpose negative 30 to the right hand side. We have 3x negative 30, we transpose to the right hand side, so we take the opposite sign of negative 30, becomes positive. And to solve for x, the coefficient of x must be 1. Therefore, we divide both sides of the equation by 3. And 3 will cancel out from the left-hand side. X equals 30 divided by 3 is 10. We approximate 10 in the horizontal axis or the x-axis. This is the X-Intercept. The line will pass through this point on the x-axis at x equals 10. And this X-Intercept or this point has actually coordinates 10 and 0. At the X-Intercept, the value of y is 0. Again, to find the X-Intercept, you set y to 0. To find the X-Intercept, the intersection of the line and the x-axis, you set y to 0 in the given equation of the line, and then you solve for x from the resulting equation in x. And then you locate that value of x in the x-axis or horizontal axis. And the line will pass through that point, which is called the X-Intercept of the line. Next, we find the Y-Intercept of the line, the point on the y-axis where the line will pass through. Again, the Y-Intercept is the point of intersection of the line with this equation, 3x minus 5y minus 30 equals 0, and the y-axis. And since the Y-Intercept is a point on the y-axis, any point on the y-axis has abscissa of 0. Thus, to find the Y-Intercept of the line, you set x to 0. We set x to 0. If x equals 0, we have 3 multiplied by 0 is 0. 0 minus 5y is negative 5y. Minus 30 equals 0. This is now a linear equation in y from which we will solve for the value of y. We transpose negative 30 to the right hand side, it becomes positive 30. Or you may transpose negative 5y to the right hand side to make the coefficient of y positive. I will transpose negative 5y to the right hand side and we get positive 5y. Positive 5y equals negative 30. And from this equation, we solve for y by dividing both sides by 5. Divide the left side by 5 and divide the right hand side by 5. And 5 will cancel out from the left hand side. We get y equals negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. We locate negative 6 in the vertical axis. Since y is negative, this point is below the x-axis. Negative 6. The line whose equation is 3x minus 5y minus 30 equals 0 will pass through this point on the y-axis at y equals negative 6. And this point of intersection of the line and the y-axis is called the Y-Intercept. The Y-Intercept has actually coordinates x is 0 and y equals negative 6. Now, to sketch the line after you have located the X-Intercept and the Y-Intercept, simply connect the intercepts with a straight line. Connect this intercept with the Y-intercept, and this is the graph of the linear equation 3x minus 5y minus 30 equals 0. Or this line, this straight line, is the graph of the linear equation in number 1, 3x minus 5y equals 30. We now sketch the graph of the second linear equation in variables x and y. The equation is 2 times quantity x minus 7 equals 3 multiplied by quantity y plus 5. We write first this equation in standard form or general form of linear equation in two variables x and y, given by ax plus by plus c equals 0. This is for us to find the x and y intercept in an easier way. To remove the grouping symbols, we apply the distributive property of multiplication. We multiply x and negative 7 by 2. 2 multiplied by x is 2x. 2 multiplied by negative 7 is negative 14. We also apply the distributive property of multiplication over addition at the right hand side. We multiply y and 5 by positive 3. We have 3 multiplied by y is 3y. 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. Now we transpose the two terms to the right hand side to make because the right hand side of the general form of linear equation in x and y is 0. We transpose 3y to the left hand side, it becomes negative 3y. We transpose positive 15 to the left hand side, it becomes negative 15. At the left hand side we have 2x. We transpose positive 3y, becomes negative 3y. Minus 14 from the left. Positive 15, we transpose to the left, we have minus 15 equals 0. And we combine the constant terms. We have 2x minus 3y minus 29 equals 0. This is the given linear equation in x and y in general form, where the coefficient a of x is 2 and the coefficient b of y is negative 3 and the constant term capital C is negative 29. We find the x-intercept and the y-intercept from this general form, and we sketch the graph in the Cartesian plane. The Cartesian plane consists of two axes. The horizontal axis is denoted by x. That's why we call it x-axis. The vertical axis is denoted by y. And we call it the y-axis. At the intersection of the two axes is the origin, denoted by 0. As we said earlier, the x-intercept is a point on the x-axis. And any point on the x-axis, the value of ordinate or y is 0. Thus, to find the x-intercept, the point on the x-axis, we set y to 0. And we solve for x from the equation of the line. If y equals 0, then we have 2x. Y is 0 multiplied by negative 3 is 0. 2x minus 0 is 2x. Minus 29 equals 0. And this is a linear equation in one variable x only. And we know from last time that the graph of this linear equation in one variable x only is a vertical line. We solve for x from this equation. We transpose negative 29 to the right hand side. We get 2x from the left equals 29. And we divide both sides by 2 because in the final solution the coefficient of x must be positive 1. Thus we divide both sides of the equation by 2. And 2 will cancel out from the left. We get x equals 29 over 2, or that's 14.5. 29 over 2, or x is 14.5. This is a point in the x-axis or horizontal axis. We approximate 14.5 from the origin. I will use a 5-unit intervals. 5, 10, 15. And this is the approximate value of x, 14.5. The line with this equation will pass through this point on the horizontal axis, and we call this point X-Intercept, the point of intersection of the line and the x-axis. Now we find the Y-Intercept. The Y-Intercept is a point on the y-axis, and any point on the y-axis, the value of x is 0. Thus, to find the Y-Intercept, or the point of intersection of the line and the y-axis, we set x to 0. If x equals 0, in the general form of the equation of the line, in this equation, we set x to 0, or we let x equal 0. And we substitute 2 multiplied by x0 is 0, 0 minus 3y is negative 3y. Negative 3y minus 29 equals 0. Now this is a linear equation in one variable y only. And we know from last time that the graph of linear equation in y only, such as this linear equation, is a horizontal line parallel with the x-axis and perpendicular with the y-axis. And from this linear equation in y, we solve for y. Either you transpose negative 29 to the right hand side, but you take the opposite side. So when you transpose negative 29 to the right, it becomes positive 29. But the easier way, if you want a positive coefficient for y, is to transpose negative 3y to the right hand side, and it becomes positive 3y. We transpose negative 3y to the right, it becomes positive 3y. Positive 3y equals negative 29. And to solve for y, we finally divide both sides of the equation by 3. Divide both sides by 3. And 3 will cancel out from the left side. We get y equals negative 29 over 3. If you have a calculator, you can divide 29 by 3, negative 29 by 3. Up to 2 decimal places. We divide 29 manually. 29 divided by 3 is 9. 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. 29 minus 27 is 2. We add 0. 20 divided by 3 is 6. 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. We add another 0. If you want your answer to 2 decimal places, you divide up to 3 decimal places and you round up the third decimal digit, decimal number, to give the answer to 2 decimal places. So we will divide 29 up to 3 decimal places and then we will round it off to 2 decimal places. We added a second 0, bring down 0. 20 divided by 3 is 6. 6 by 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. Add a third 0 so that we will get an answer to 3 decimal places. And bring down 0. 20 divided by 3 is 6. 6 by 3 is 18. And 20 minus 18 is 2. Now we have this answer to 3 decimal places. Because we want the answer to 2 decimal places, after the decimal point we count 2 decimal numbers, and the third decimal number we round it off. Since 6 is more than 5, we add 1 to the preceding digit 6 and we get 9.67. Y is negative 9.67. Now we locate this y equals 9.67 in the vertical axis or y-axis. You count approximate 9.67 units from the origin downward. Since the value of y is negative, this point on the vertical axis is below the horizontal axis or the x-axis. I will use a 5 unit intervals. 5, 10. And I approximate negative 9.67. This point is negative 9.67. The line with this equation in general form will pass through this point in the y-axis. And this point is called the Y-Intercept. It is the point of intersection of the line and the vertical axis. After you have located the X-Intercept and the Y-Intercept, connect these intercepts with straight line. The appearance of this line is similar to the graph of the first linear equation in x and y, but of course they have different intercepts. And you may label the line by its equation in general form. This equation has, the straight line has equation 2x minus 3y. 2x minus 3y minus 29 equals 0. This is the general form of the equation of this line. Linear equation in 2 variables x and y. But this line has original equation given by this 2 times quantity x minus 7 equals 3 times quantity y plus 5. Now we will take an example using to find the equation of the line passing through 2 points, and we will use the 2-point form of the equation of the line to find the equation of the line if the 2 points on the line are given. We take another example. In this third example, we will find the equation of the line. and the given are 2 points on the line. That is, the line passes through the given 2 points, and we want to find the equation of the line. We will write the equation of the line in 2-point form, slope point form, slope intercept form, and intercept form. Consider the following problem. Find the equation of the line through 2, -3. This is the first point on the line. The line will pass through this point. And -4, 5. This is the second point given on the line. The line also passes through this point. And we find the equation of the line through 2, -3 and -4, 5 in 2-point form, slope point form, standard form, slope intercept form, and intercept form. We are also asked to sketch the line. We start with the 2-point form. The 2-point form is given by this y minus y1 equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 times quantity x minus x1. As I said earlier, the 2 points are, the coordinates of the 2 points are given, and the first point denoted by P sub 1 or P1 has coordinates x1, y1. The second point denoted by P2 or P sub 2 has coordinates x2, y2. In the given 2 points, you may take any of the 2 points as the first point. If you take this as your point P1, then this will be your point P2. Or you may take this -4, 5 as the point P1, and this will be your point P2. I will take the first given point 2, -3 as the point P1 with coordinates x1, y1. This is equal to the first point 2, -3. This implies that the abscissa x1 is equal to 2. The ordinate of P1, y1 is -3. Since we take this as our point P1, then the second point will be the point P sub 2. -4, 5 is the point P2 with coordinates x2, y2. And this is equal to the second point, -4, 5. This implies that the abscissa x sub 2 of the second point is -4. x2 is -4. And the ordinate y2 of the second point P2 is equal to 5. y2 equals 5. Then we substitute these values of x and y into the 2-point form of the equation of the line. We have y minus y1, y minus y1, y1 is -3, negative minus y1, -3. Equals y2. y2 is 5 minus y1 is -3. Because y1 is negative, we place it, we write it in open close parenthesis, -3 over x2. x2 is -4 minus x1. x1 is 2. Multiply by quantity x minus x1. x1 is 2. minus 2. Or we simplify, we have y negative and negative is positive. This is actually the 2-point form. This is the equation of the line through the points 2, negative 3 and 4, negative 4, 5 in 2-point form. And we simplify this equation to get the slope point form. The slope point form is given by this y minus y1 equals m multiplied by x minus x1. This is the slope point form. One point is given. The first point P1 with coordinates x1 and y1. And m here is the slope, which is given by this, the difference of the ordinates, the ratio of the difference of the ordinates and the difference of the abscissas. The slope m is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Where y2 is 5 minus y1 is negative 3 divided by x2 is negative 4 minus x1 is 2. We simplify the numerator and denominator. We have 5. Negative by negative is positive 3 divided by negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. In the numerator, we have 5 plus 3 is 8 divided by negative 6 or negative. Now, if you can reduce the fraction to its lowest terms, you reduce that fraction to lowest terms. We have 8 over 6 can be reduced to the lowest terms because there is a number that can divide both 8 and 2. And the highest number that can divide 8 and 2 is 2. So we divide 8 by 2, that's 4. And we divide 6 by 2, that's 3. And that is the slope of the line through these points 2, negative 3, and negative 4, 5. In the succeeding lessons, we will define slope, and we will define slope as the tangent of the angle of inclination of the line. And we will also interpret what is meant by slope of the line, if we know the slope of the line. Now we can find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. We have the slope m, negative 4 over 3, and the point with coordinates x1 and y1. The point P1, where x1 is 2 and y1 is negative 3. We substitute in this slope point form the slope m and the coordinates of the first point P1, x1, y1. We have y minus y1 is negative 3 equals the slope m is negative 4 over 3 multiply by quantity x minus x1, and x1 is 2. This is that's the equation of the line through the points 2, -3 and -4, 5 in slope point form. So we have written the equation of the line in 2-point form and slope point form. Next, we will write the equation of the line in standard form, slope-intercept form, and intercept form, and we will sketch the line. To write the equation of the line through the points 2, -3, and -4, 5 in standard form, we simply continue from the slope point form of the equation of the line. We simplify this equation and we write that in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. And this is the standard form or general form of the equation of the line through the points 2, -3, and -4, 5. We simplify y minus -3, or negative times -3 is positive 3. We have y plus 3 equals -4/3 times quantity x minus 2. We simplify further. We multiply both sides by 3 to remove the denominator 3. That's the multiplication property of equality. Multiplying both sides of the equation by a constant does not change the equality or maintains the equality. Or simply multiply the left-hand side by 3. That's what is known as cross multiplication. We multiply the left-hand side by 3, and from the right-hand side we distribute -4. That is, we multiply x and -2 by -4. And the left-hand side we multiply by 3. We have 3 multiplied by y plus 3 equals -4 by x is -4x. -4 by -2 is positive 8. Again, we have to remove the grouping symbols. We multiply each term by positive 3. We have 3 multiplied by y is 3y. And 3 by 3 is positive 9 equals -4x plus 8. And to write the equation in standard form, we transpose these two terms from the right to the left. When we transpose -4x to the left, we take the opposite sign of -4x. And the same with 8, when we transpose 8 to the left, we take the opposite sign of 8. We transpose -4x to the left, we get positive 4x plus 3y plus 9. We transpose positive 8 to the left side, we get -8 equals 0. And we combine the constant terms. We have 4x plus 3y, and 9 minus 8 is 1 equals 0. This is the equation of the line in standard form. This is the equation of the line through 2, -3, and -4, 5 in standard form, where the coefficient a of x is 4 and the coefficient b of y is 3 and the constant term c is 1. Now we write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form is given by y equals mx plus b. And earlier we have calculated the slope of the line m, or you can get the slope of the line from the slope point form of the equation of the line. And this is the slope of the line, negative 4/3. And to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, we have to find the value of b. And we said earlier that b is actually the y-intercept of the line. It is the value of y at which the line passes through the y-axis, or y equals b is the point on the y-axis, and it is the point of intersection of the line and the vertical axis or y-axis. Since this y-intercept is a point on the vertical axis or the y-axis, its abscissa or the value of x at the y-intercept is equal to 0. Therefore, we set x to 0 to find the value of b. If x equals 0, we substitute x equals 0 in the general form of the equation of the line. If x is 0, we have 4 multiplied by 0 is 0, and 0 plus 3y is 3y. We have 3y plus 1 equals 0. And we solve for y from this linear equation in one variable y. And we know from last lesson that the graph of this linear equation in variable y only is a horizontal line, parallel with the x-axis and perpendicular with the y-axis. We solve for y from this linear equation by transposing positive 1 to the right, and we get 3y equals, we transpose positive 1 to the right, we get negative 1. And finally, we divide both sides by 3. We divide both sides by 3. And 3 will cancel out from the left side, we get y equals negative 1/3. The line with this equation for x plus 3y plus 1 equals 0, and passing through this point 2, negative 3, and negative 4, 5, will pass through the y-axis at y equals negative 1/3. So this is the y-intercept, or the point of intersection of the line and the y-axis. And in the slope-intercept form, this is the value of b. Hence, to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, the first step is to find the slope of the line, which we have found when we write the equation of the line in slope point form. And the slope m is given by the ratio of the difference of the ordinates. The slope m is given by the ratio of the difference of the ordinates and the difference of the abscissas. And we have shown that m equals negative 4/3. And the next step is to find b, which is the y-intercept of the line. It is a point on the y-axis. Since the y-intercept is a point on the y-axis, we set x to 0 in the general form of the equation of the line. After which we solve for y in the resulting linear equation in y only. And the value of y is the b. It's the value of b in the slope-intercept form. Therefore, b equals negative 1/3. We can now write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. By substituting m and b into this equation, we have y equals, the slope m of the line is negative 4/3 multiplied by x plus b is negative 1/3, or the equation of the line in slope-intercept form is negative 4/3 x. Positive times negative is negative, negative 1/3. This is that's the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, where the slope is negative 4/3 and the intercept b is negative 1/3. Next, we will write the equation of the line in intercept form and we will draw the line. We now write the equation of the line in intercept form. The intercept form of the equation of the line is given by the following. We have x over a plus y over b equals 1. We have found earlier b when we write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. And we said that b is actually the y-intercept of the line, or the point of intersection of the line with the vertical axis. And when we found b, we set x to 0 in the general form of the equation of the line. We set x to 0 and we solve for y. And when we solve for y, we get y equals negative 1/3, which is our y-intercept, or the value of b. A here, the denominator of x, is the x-intercept. It is the point of intersection of the line and the horizontal axis or x-axis. Therefore, this value of a is actually a point on the x-axis. And any point on the x-axis, the ordinate of that point on the x-axis is 0, which means that the value of y at the x-intercept is 0. Therefore, to find the value of a, we set y to 0 in the general form of the equation of the line. We have if y equals 0, then we get 4x, 3 multiplied by y is 0, 3 multiplied by 0 is 0, and 4x plus 0 is 4x, plus 1 equals 0, plus 1 equals 0. And we solve for x from this linear equation in one variable x. We first transpose positive 1 to the right hand side, we get 4x. 4x equals positive 1, we transpose to the right hand side, we get negative 1. And we divide both sides by 4. And 4 will cancel out from the left hand side. We get x equals negative 1/4. Or that's approximately negative 1/4 to 2 decimal places is negative 0.25. And negative 1/3 to 2 decimal places is negative 0.33. But we are interested in the value of A. A is the X-Intercept. And the X-Intercept is a point on the x-axis or horizontal axis where y equals 0 and x is negative 1/4. Therefore, negative 1/4 is our A. Hence, we can now write the equation of the line. This is the general form or standard form of the equation of the line. And we can now write the equation of the line in this form, the intercept form, by substituting the value of A, negative 1/4, and the value of B, negative 1/3, into this equation. Thus, we have x over A, negative 1/4, plus y over B is negative 1/3 equals 1. This is the intercept form of the equation of the line, whose general form is 4x plus 3y plus 1 equals 0. Now we will sketch the graph of the line with equation in general form given by 4x plus 3y plus 1 equals 0. As we said earlier, the easiest way to sketch the graph of a linear equation in two variables x and y is to find the intercepts of the line. And we have found the intercepts of the line. The x-intercept is given by the value of A, negative 1/4, while the y-intercept is given by the value of B, negative 1/3. Y is negative 1/3, that's the y-intercept. Y equals negative 1/3 is a point on the vertical axis. And the x-intercept is the value of x given by the value of x, negative 1/4. And this is a point on the x-axis. And we sketch the graph in the Cartesian plane with two axes. The horizontal axis is denoted by x. The vertical axis is denoted by y. And the intersection of the two axes is denoted by 0. We first plot the intercepts. I use a 1 unit intervals for the horizontal and the vertical axis. So this point is 1 unit from the origin to the left, and this point is 1 unit from the origin downward. That's why it's negative 1 and this is negative 1. And we plot the x-intercept negative 0.25. This is negative 1. We approximate negative 0.25, or that's 1/4. We divide this into 4 equal parts, and this is 1/4, negative 1/4, or negative 0.25. And the y-intercept is negative 1/3 in two decimal places. That's approximately negative 0.33, and I approximate negative 0.33. Since y is negative, we count 0.33 unit from the origin downward, and this is the point negative 0.33. This is the y-intercept, and this is the x-intercept. And as we did in the previous examples, to sketch the line, we simply connect the X-intercept and the Y-intercept with a straight line. And we label the line with its equation in general form. This line has equation 4x plus 3y plus 1 equals 0. And this equation is in general form. This is the line that passes through the given points in the problem earlier. For your practice, please try the following exercise. Find the equation of the line through 3 positive 1 and 2 positive 2 negative 1 in 2-point form, slope point form, standard form, slope intercept form, and intercept form. Sketch the line. This problem is very much similar to the problem we had earlier. If you have question about the lesson today, you ask your question in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Art Cartesian. Thank you.